Good morning, Fayette County High School Tigers. Welcome back. My name is Ms. Yolanda Briggs Johnson, principal of the Fayette County High School. It is an honor to be speaking with you this morning. I hope everyone had a pleasant, safe, healthy summer. I know there's been a lot that's happened and transpired since we last left Fayette County High School. However, we're back in our new year, and with that, we have some information to share with you from not only myself, but also your assistant principals and Officer Israel. So this will serve as our class meeting, what most of you are typically used to, where we come into the gymnasium, we talk, we discuss expectations. But this year, we're doing things a little differently. One, to make sure we all stay safe and minimize our transitions, but also because with changes and new technology and in an effort to be more efficient, we're videotaping our class meeting as we will do moving forward. So with that being said, I'm here to welcome you all back to Tiger Trail. On behalf of the faculty and staff, we are thrilled to have you in the building. And for those of you who are new to Fayette County High School, welcome to Tigerland. With that, you will hear from Ms. Cherry Lee, Assistant Principal and Registrar here at Fayette County High School. You will also hear from Mr. Bill Stykes, Athletic Director and Assistant Principal here, Dr. Lydia Powell, Assistant Principal, and our new Assistant Principal, Mr. Jonathan Hall, and afterwards you will hear from Officer Israel. Please pay attention. Listen to what we're sharing with you because it's for your benefit and to make sure you have an exceptional year here this year at Fayette County High School. And remember, we exemplify excellence in all we do with Tiger Pride. Thank you.
Greetings, students, and welcome back to the 2021-2021 school year. I'm Ms. Cherry Lee, Assistant Principal and Registrar at Fayette County High School. We're going to discuss some policies and procedures for this school year. Let's first begin with our tobacco policy. There are no tobacco, no chewing, no smoking, e-cigarettes or vapes allowed on campus. Next, move to our cafeteria policies in relation to the change of COVID-19. All students will have an SCHS personalized student card to scan your number for touchless access. When we're on green status, students will eat in their classroom with a rolling lunch schedule by hall. Students will be dismissed by your teacher, go to the cafeteria, pick up your lunch, and return to class. While you're going to the cafeteria, make sure you're maintaining your social distance while you're in line, as well as when you get back to your classroom and you're in your lunch, that you dispose of all debris around your desk. Next, we're on the yellow status for cafeteria policies. We'll have 4 lunch periods. Students will be assigned a lunch period by hallway, and make sure while you're going to lunch, you maintain your social distance. Also, while you're in the cafeteria, no more than 2 students at a table, facing only in one direction. Now, the additional expectations we have in our cafeteria, make sure, of course, that your table is clean. If your table is not clean, the next day when you come back, it will be coned and you won't be allowed to eat at that table. Also, make sure you stay only in the cafeteria or the patio area. Make sure we're not going to any off-limits area, walking the halls, going to the bathroom, or even in other areas of the school where you shouldn't be. While you're getting your lunch, make sure you do not share numbers. Use your own lunch number for your own lunch. Also, no line breaking, meaning don't skip line, don't hop in front of anyone else. All lines have the same food items. Now, while we're talking about food items, remember our outside food policy. And our outside food policy states no Chick-fil-A, Dunkin' Donuts, or any other outside food should be brought into school during the morning or at lunch. So make sure when you're bringing your lunch to school, that's in a brown paper bag or a lunchbox. So no other items can be brought to school in the morning or by your parents during the lunchtime if you happen to miss your lunch. Also, for microwaves, make sure you bring food that is non-microwavable, food that you can eat without being warmed or heated up. We will not have any microwaves available on campus. This will be suspended for the first semester due to COVID-19 health restrictions. Next, let's move to agendas. So agendas are not supplied for our students this year. Make sure you use your Google Classroom, Google Calendar, Schoology for reminders on your Chromebook. Next, let's discuss entrance in the building in the morning. So a change from last year is that no drop-offs can begin before 7:45 a.m. Students must report to their first period class. If your teacher is not available, wait outside until they get there. Make sure you're socially distanced until they open the door at that time. Drop-off areas are for the lower entrance in front, and the building entrance where you guys can be dropped off is at the tower entrance and the front entrance. No entrance for any kind should be at any of the hallways. Now, with our access to the building in the morning, just as a reminder, if you're going to a tutorial session as a part of our COVID-19 restrictions, you must have a pass to all tutorial sessions. So making sure that you have a pass and you're assigned to a classroom to get assistance in the morning. You are also allowed to visit the media center in the morning. However, if the media center is at capacity, you will not be able to enter at that time. You will need to go back to your class and make sure you wait on your teacher. Just as a reminder, as you're waiting for your teacher, just remember that when the teacher door is open, you may enter, and your teacher door is closed. They're not available at that time. The bell rings for the end tutorial at 8:25. Our warning bell is at 8:33, and late to class is at 8:35. So be mindful of all those things as you're entering school and you're waiting for your teachers and also being on time. A little note about scheduling information. So you'll receive a schedule change request form if there's a problem with your schedule. Now, there are valid reasons for a schedule change request and there are non-valid reasons. So a valid reason would be if you have a wrong class, you've already passed that class, or you're missing a class. A non-valid reason for a schedule change would be if you have an elective preference, if you have a teacher request, a lunch period request, or a friend request. So keep in mind there are only certain reasons for a schedule change. You'll see your information in Infinite Campus before the first day of school. Next, let's discuss school email. Remember, your school email can always be monitored and it's only for educational purposes. Make sure you use your school email address when you're addressing teachers and you're having questions regarding your classes. Next, let's talk about Infinite Campus. All students should have a student portal account to check your grades, attendance, fees, and a variety of other things when we're doing registration and also signing up for additional classes and other sections. So please make sure that you are using your Infinite Campus portal and you're reviewing that information. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the medicine policy. And as a reminder, you cannot carry any over-the-counter prescription or illicit drug. Over-the-counter and any prescription should be held at the clinic, and your parents must bring them in with a signed note stating that you have that in the clinic. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bill Stykes. I'm an assistant principal and athletic director here at Fayette County High School. And I'm going to talk to you a few minutes about athletic eligibility, athletic participation, and then also safety and operations, which are under my supervision at the school. First thing we're going to discuss is athletic eligibility. To be eligible to participate in extracurricular activities, including sports at Fayette County High School, you're required to pass 2.5 credits each semester, so you must earn credit in 5 classes each semester. Make sure you're taking care of business in the classroom. You also have to be on track for graduation, so please note that if you don't earn credits your freshman year, it could impact your eligibility the remainder of your high school career. I'd also like to talk to you about ways you can support athletics at Fayette County High School. Through our My School Bucks store and our partnership with GoFan, Fayette County High School Athletics is now offering Tiger Fan Passes. Just $65 purchases you a student Tiger Fan Pass, which guarantees admission to all home, non-playoff activities. This includes football games, basketball games, baseball games, softball games, volleyball games. All athletic events that we host that require a ticket, you can have admission for just $65 one-time fee. Now, in the past, we have distributed cards. This year, we're going digital ticketing in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So to purchase your Tiger Fan Pass, please see our social media post on Twitter and on Instagram or the Fayette County High School website, which has a link to purchase your Tiger Fan Pass online. Fan passes are $65. You'll create an account through our GoFan partnership, and in the GoFan app is where your Tiger Fan Pass will appear. If your parents are interested in fan passes, we're also selling those for $100 at the same link. We'd also encourage you to participate in Tiger Spirit Days by purchasing FCHS Tiger Spirit Wear. If you log on to the My School Bucks store, you'll see various amounts of Tiger Spirit Wear, from t-shirts to hats to magnets and keychains, we'd encourage you to purchase those to show your FCHS Tiger pride. I also need to talk to you about eligibility as it relates to obligations. Please note obligations, which are fees or materials that you owe the school, affect your participation in extracurricular activities. If you have an outstanding fee or obligation, you're not allowed to participate in extracurricular activities. So please make sure you pay your fees and turn in the items when required. This also relates to our textbook distribution and return. Some of you may be issued textbooks by your teachers. If you're issued a physical copy of your textbook, it is your responsibility to keep track of that textbook and return it at the assigned time. Please realize that if you do not return the textbook at the required time, or if it is damaged while in your possession, you will be financially responsible for that textbook. Take care of the materials that are issued to you, and please make sure you return them at the appropriate time. One of the other items that we need to discuss is the parking lot. If you're one of our student drivers, please make sure that you have purchased a student parking permit through Ms. Cranford's office, our parking lot attendant. Student parking permits can be purchased through the My School Bucks online store or in the downstairs AP office between second and third periods. Our parking lot procedures are simple. Please arrive promptly at school, leave the parking lot and enter the building as soon as you arrive on campus, and once school is over, please make sure you promptly go to your car and exit the campus. Our student parking lot also doubles as our band practice facility, so please make sure that you are not parked in the band practice field after school when the marching band needs to use it. We also need to talk about passes today. This year, we will have color-coded restrooms. Students will receive single-use restroom passes to help ensure your safety. Teachers will write your name, the date, the time on the pass, and it will be color-coded based on the restroom you should attend, the restroom that's closest to your classroom. Please make sure you take those single-use restroom passes with you to the restroom, use the restroom, and then discard them when you return to your classroom. Media Center passes and nurse passes will also be single-use and only reserved for times that are absolutely necessary due to our COVID-19 pandemic and our social distancing requirements. Please make sure every time you leave the classroom, you have a written pass that has your name on it, the time you left, and where you need to go. All other needs, if you need to see a counselor, if you need to see an administrator, if you need to go to the graduation coach, all of those will require students to email the appropriate person, Officer Israel, your administrator, your counselor, to schedule an appointment, and then that individual, the administrator or counselor, will call you out of class to make sure that you can come and be seen immediately. Due to our COVID-19 restrictions, we cannot have students waiting in waiting areas prior to seeing an administrator or counselor. So please ensure that you email the appropriate person for an appointment. We also need to discuss safety and discipline. First thing I want to bring to your attention is that when you receive disciplinary consequences, they will be on a discipline notice. I want to bring to your attention that signing those disciplinary notices is not a guilty plea or an admission of guilt. It's simply signifying that you received a copy of the discipline notice and the consequences. We want you to make sure that you sign those and take those to your parents because we don't want to take something small and turn it into something big. Because failure to sign a discipline notice is an extra disciplinary offense for insubordination. Please don't take small mistakes that you've made and turn them into larger mistakes because you're failing to comply with our school policies and rules. The same thing goes for skipping teacher-assigned detention. If you're assigned teacher or administrative detention, please make sure you attend on the appropriate date, or if there's an issue, please see your administrator or teacher prior to the date you were assigned. We don't want to take these small infractions that lead to disciplinary consequences like detentions and have them escalate until you have to serve in-school suspension or other punishment. You need to know that your rights as it relates to searches on school property. When you arrive on school property, both on your car and in your bags, the school has the ability to search those if there's reasonable suspicion that you have any type of items that are contraband or not allowed on school. That applies to your lockers if we eventually assign them. It applies to any bags. It applies to cars that are parked on campus. It applies to your cell phones, and it applies to your person. So please be apprised of your rights as it relates to searches that the school can search if there's reasonable suspicion that you have something on your person that violates our student code of conduct. I also need to inform you of our rules related to fighting. Fighting will lead to school disciplinary consequences and possible arrest or referral to police for prosecution. We have other ways to help you settle your issues. So if you have an interpersonal problem that you think might result in a fight, please reach out to a counselor, reach out to a trusted adult, a teacher, or an administrator, and let us help you constructively solve those problems before disciplinary consequences must be assigned based off your actions. That also relates to gang activity or attire. Please note that any type of gang activity or attire on school campus, at school activities, or that relates to Fayette County High School in any way will result in school discipline and arrest. We want you to respect all adults in the building. So make sure every time you're on school campus, make sure every time that you are involved in an FCHS activity, whether it's an athletic event on or off campus or a field trip, that you represent excellence in all you do and that your behavior models that behavior that we expect through our ROAR expectations. Your respect should go to all of the adults in the building and all of your fellow students. I also need to communicate how in-school suspension or out-of-school suspension can result in a suspension of your participation in extracurricular activities. If you're assigned out-of-school suspension, please note that you cannot be on any Fayette County Board of Education property until after the suspension has finished. Out-of-school suspension also affects your exam exemptions. If you're assigned in-school suspension, you cannot participate in any sponsored event on school property until after the in-school suspension is complete. For example, if you have out-of-school suspension on Monday through Wednesday of 1 week, you are not allowed to come to a basketball game on Tuesday night or to go to a club meeting on Wednesday afternoon. You can resume participation on Thursday after your suspension is complete. On the other hand, if you were assigned in-school suspension from Monday to Wednesday, you can resume participation at the end of school on Wednesday. We also need to remind you of our harassment policies, which is covered under Title IX. Please ensure that if you are a victim of any type of verbal, physical, or sexual harassment, that you let a trusted adult know immediately. We want to make sure that all of our students are respected and protected while they're at Fayette County High School. All of our information about reporting can be found on our website, but what you need to know immediately is that if you're the victim or witness any type of harassment, you need to report it to a trusted adult as soon as possible so that it can be investigated and handled via our Student Code of Conduct and our Title IX policies. We also offer things like mediation. Understand that the administrators and counseling staff want to help you as students grow and learn and become young adults. Part of that is constructively discussing differences. Our mediation processes and cease and desist processes can help you solve interpersonal issues that might lead to altercations. If you have an incident that you feel needs to lead to some mediation or discussions, please contact your counselor or administrator or a teacher immediately. One of the other items that I need to discuss with you is buses. Please remember that buses are an extension of the school and that all school rules apply not only on the bus, but also at the bus stop. Bus drivers should be treated with the utmost respect for safety reasons and because you're a Fayette County High School student, and we expect you to behave and fulfill our ROAR expectations wherever you are. Please make sure that your bus behavior and bus stop behavior complies with all rules as contained in the Fayette County Board of Education Code of Conduct. That includes this year wearing a mask. Masks are required at school and on the buses, so ensure that you wear your mask on buses at all times. I want to also briefly discuss with you afternoon bus procedures and some COVID-19 precautions that we're taking. First, about the afternoon. When the bell rings at the end of the day, we will have a rolling dismissal schedule. Bus riders will be dismissed at one time. Car riders will be dismissed at another time. Walkers will be dismissed at a different time, as will drivers or people participating in after-school activities. Please ensure you listen to your teacher's instructions, the announcements, and the bell schedule to ensure that you are released at the appropriate time. This after-school rolling dismissal is taking place so that we can ensure your safety. When you're here at Fayette County High School, we want to do everything we can to make sure that we are fulfilling our duty to keep you safe from everything, including COVID-19. Because of that, we've taken some extra procedures and precautions in the hallway. Some of our hallways are one-directional. For example, our one-way hallways include the 1000 hallway, the 2000 hallway, the 1400 hallway, and the 2400 hallway. Both the long hallways in the front and the back of the school are only one way. Please comply with these guidelines to help our traffic flow in one direction and wear your mask to help reduce potential disease transmission. Our cross hallways, the 2100 hallway, 2200 hallway, 2300 hallway, 1100, 1200, and 1300 hallways are two-directional. You may go both directions on those hallways, but you'll notice as you enter those hallways that we have stanchions and dividers in the middle of the hallway. Please walk on the right and use our designated crossover zones to cross over as necessary to attend your class. These crossover zones ensure that we have 6 feet of distance between you when you're walking past each other and comply with CDC best practices and Department of Public Health best practices to help reduce potential COVID-19 exposure for students and staff. By following these directional signage, you will help ensure that our school remains safe. One other change that we're making with the traffic flow relates to our stairwells. All of our stairwells will be designated as either up stairwells or down stairwells. Signage will be located at the top and bottom of each stairwell, as well as provided on maps periodically located throughout the school and provided to you via email and on our school website. Please comply with only going up the upstairs and down the downstairs. This is done to help ensure that we have 6 feet of distance when folks are passing each other, and we, again, keep you safe throughout the school day. Again, when we arrive at school, we have extra procedures that are put in place to help you keep safe in this COVID-19 pandemic. When you arrive at school, you'll be asked to report directly to first period. Whether you're dropped off in the morning in the front, you're a car rider, or you're a bus rider, instead of gathering in common areas like our cafeteria or our hallways, all students will be asked to report immediately to first period. You will stay in your first period class until school begins. This will help us comply with best practices as it relates to social distancing and ensure that you are as safe as possible. Because of that, we also will not provide lockers this year. Lockers are not available to rent and cannot be used for students. We would ask that you carry a string bag or your Chromebook case to classes with you. Please do not try to use our lockers or to congregate in our locker areas, as we want to make sure that social distancing is practiced throughout the building, especially in class transitions. If you have any questions about our COVID-19 policies as it relates to hallway traffic patterns, locker usage, please make sure that you see our website or our social media pages and make sure that you follow all announcements as they are made. Again, with our buses and our dismissal procedures, make sure that you exit the building promptly. Please note that 10 minutes after bus riders are announced, all buses will depart campus and they will not return. So if you're not on the bus after 10 minutes, you will not be able to ride the bus home from school that day. This may be a change because you may be dismissed at a different time than car riders or drivers or after-school participants. So listen to your teachers, listen to the announcements. Please comply with our social distancing protocols to help ensure this school year is the safest one ever at Fayette County High School. If you have any questions about athletic eligibility, about support for our athletic teams, or about safety and discipline, please don't hesitate to contact me in the downstairs AP office via email. Thank you and go Tigers.
Welcome back, Tigers. To all of our students who are returning, welcome. To all of our new 9th graders, I want to welcome you. And to all of our transfer students, students from other states, students from other districts, welcome to the Tiger family. I am Dr. Powell. I am over the 9th grade academy, and I am also over some other programs and services in the school. One of those programs is called PBIS. That is a positive behavior intervention. And basically what we want to do is catch you doing something good, not something bad. So we have a lot of things in place that I'm going to share with you today in regard to our PBIS program. So number one, we have wonderful students at Fayette County High School. Over 90% of our students do not receive any discipline referrals. So we are very, very proud of you. Every year we look at discipline data, and you guys are doing a great job at meeting roar expectations. We have signs that illustrate Tiger Roar expectations all over the building. And you know, when you're walking through the building or when you're on class virtual, we will share those expectations with you. We call those expectations roar expectations. We expect for you to be responsible, on time, attentive, and respectful. So we have signs that discuss that, and we will share more with you during the school year. You will receive announcements if you're virtual, and you will hear announcements in the school if you're actually brick and mortar. And we will share different initiatives with you, and your teachers will as well. Teachers and counselors will catch you doing good stuff in the building, even if you are virtual. So we have something called Tiger Tokens, and basically you earn those by meeting the ROAR expectations. What can you do with those Tiger Tokens? You can basically go to the Tiger Token store where we have a bunch of items for you to purchase. We have shirts, we have passes to movies, we have gift cards to different restaurants, we have field trips. So you would visit the Tiger Token store, whether you're virtual or face-to-face, and you would make purchases using your Tiger Tokens. There are ways that you can get Tiger Tokens. You can earn them and you can win them. So when you go to Tiger Token store on Friday, it's open every Friday, you can actually use those Tiger Tokens to exchange them for goods or services, but you can also turn your Tiger Tokens in so that you're entered into a raffle to earn even bigger prizes. So every Friday, right before the day ends, Ms. Zander will get on the announcements and announce the Tiger Token winner. Make sure if you get a Tiger Token, you write your name on the front and your teacher has signed the back, or they will not be accepted, because our teachers earn items from the Tiger Tokens as well. So if you enter your name into the Tiger Token raffle, we'll turn it on the back and see what teacher gave it to you, and we will give that teacher a prize as well. We will also be continuing to watch tardies and following certain expectations. So tardies, whether you're virtual or face-to-face, you need to make sure that you are not, not coming to class on time, because that is one of our expectations, that you show up on time. Even if you are virtual, your teacher will share further expectations with you as to how you enter classes virtually and what the expectation is for your classes virtually. Cell phones. So cell phones this year, especially with COVID, we want to make sure you keep those cell phones put away. If you are a returning Tiger, you know we used to park our cell phones in the parking lot. However, we will not be doing this year. It is your responsibility to keep your cell phone away. So you will be allowed to have the drawstring bags, or if you have a purse, you will put your cell phone in that item and it will stay away, out of sight and out of mind. Unless your teacher gives you explicit instructions to pull it out, you will not pull that cell phone out. Also, cheating, the use of social media, distractions in the classroom, refusal to follow instructions concerning cell phones. Your teacher will follow the discipline policies in their class as far as cell phones are concerned. You may get a warning, you may get a teacher detention, you may get referred to office, so you want to make sure you're meeting those expectations. Also, you will receive some forms this week. You will receive those forms through your first period class. Those forms are very important, so make sure you pay attention to your teacher when you're going through those forms. You must turn in some of your forms. There's a discipline form where you're basically saying that you have received a copy of the Student Code of Conduct. You're going to sign that form, your parents are going to sign that form, and you're going to return the form. In addition to that, we have an emergency form. It is very important that you complete this form, because we need to make sure that all of the contact information is correct in our Infinite Campus system. If there are any corrections you need to make to the form, you will cross out your information and you will put your new information. For example, a new address, a new telephone number. In addition to that, you want to make sure you write down your student phone phone number. So if you own a cell phone, or if you answer your home phone, you want to also write in your name, first and last, and your cell phone number, your personal cell phone number. You must turn those forms in. They will be due by that Friday to your first period teacher. Your first period teacher will give you more information. If you are a transfer student and you're watching this video throughout the school year, you will receive these forms from the secretary for the counseling department or your counselor. You must turn those forms in the next day that you return to school. Failure to turn those forms in will result in discipline. We have to get those forms back in because they're very important for your safety. So we will allow Chromebook cases and string bags in class. Due to COVID-19, you will not be using lockers this year until further notice. So you are able to secure your items in those bags. So a small purse, no bigger than your Chromebook case, and a string bag to keep your belongings in, including that cell phone. Dress code. So pants must be worn above the waist, no bandanas, no wallet chains, for our males. That is including being in a virtual setting. If you are on Blackboard Collaborate, if you are on Zoom, you need to make sure you are dressed appropriately for school. Girls, no cleavage, no midriffs. You need to make sure your skirts, including boys, your pants are fingertip length. So make sure you are staying in dress code. Again, via Zoom, virtual, Blackboard, and in person. Dress code for COVID. So now we have a new item to add to our dress code, and that's masks. You need to make sure you're covering your face. Any face covering you wear must be school appropriate. So no alcohol, no drug references, no profanity, okay? So we need to make sure the same thing you're not allowed to have on your t-shirts and book bags is the same thing you're not allowed to have on your mask. In addition, you must use a mask. You cannot use your t-shirt and walk around in the building with your t-shirt covering your face. You also may not just grab a bandana and cover your face with that. Those are not allowed as well. So bandanas aren't allowed in addition to not being allowed to use as a face covering. Food and drink in the classroom. There are going to be lunch changes in regard to COVID-19. However, you can't walk around the building with Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts cups. You must throw those away. You can have water in a sealed container. You can't have any pour-ins to that water. So, pouring in Kool-Aid or protein or anything like that. It must be a clear liquid, and your teacher needs to be able to see that it's clear. We don't allow outside food in the building. So you need to make sure if you have leftovers from the day before, you put it in your lunchbox or a brown paper bag. But you cannot order in from any place and, consume food. If you are one of our dual enrollment students and you stop and get lunch, that's great, but you cannot bring it in the building to eat. You need to eat that on your way, and that cannot cause you to be late for class. So you need to make sure you are following those protocols. So if you have any questions in regard to PBIS, you can feel free to find me. If you misplaced any of your first day forms, you can ask your first period teacher or come up to the front office and we will replace those forms for you. So I wish and hope that you have a wonderful school year.
Good morning, guys. I'm Mr. Hall, and I'll be your new assistant principal this year, and I have a couple of things to talk to you guys about for this upcoming school year. First up is Schoology. So by now you should have received an email from the district, you and your parents, in regards to setting up your account and being prepared to utilize Schoology for the upcoming year. It will replace Blackboard that you used previously, and we'll move forward using Schoology. It's really user-friendly, but that's where you find most of your information for your courses throughout the school year. If you have not received that information, please make sure you can contact me. Come downstairs in the downstairs AP office, and I'll set you up with your school account. Next up is attendance information. Of course, you cannot learn if you're not at school, so please make sure you're here. We also know that it affects your exam exemptions as well, so making sure that you're at school is really, really priority. I know things are kind of crazy right now, but ensuring that you're at school is really, really key. Check-ins, check-outs, and absences are deemed excused or unexcused. Reasons that merit an excused absence will be illness, death in the immediate family, religious holidays that are observed by you and your family, documented court appearances, serving as a page in the General Assembly, absence to vote in an election, and up to 5 days of absence per year for students of parents serving in the military and being deployed or on leave. So if you fall within any of those categories, of course, it'll be an excused absence. If you have 3 days, or you do have 3 days to submit a note to excuse an absence, whether it's check-in or check-out. Excused notes should have student's name, date of absence, check-out or check-in, the specific reason for the absence, and then make sure that your parent has signed it. For excuse, of course, you can make up the work for credit, and if it's unexcused, you do receive a 0 for any work collected that day. So please make sure you keep that in mind. If it's excused, of course, you can make up that work for credit, but if it's unexcused, you do receive a 0 for that day. All notes must be submitted to the attendance office. So, of course, you guys know Ms. Hines. Make sure you stop by there to submit your attendance notes. Be sure to turn all excuse notes in, like I said, to Ms. Hines between classes or before or after school. Let's talk about personal technology really quickly. So, of course, it's a privilege and not a right. If it's inappropriately used, of course, it does not become a privilege, and that privilege can be taken away. So please keep that in mind, guys. We're here to really learn, and personal technology should be stowed to the side. You can use it responsibly, and if you do use it responsibly, there will be no problem. However, if you're engaging in personal text messages or you're using your phone to call home, that's really not appropriate, especially during the school day. Also know that we're no longer a bring your own technology school, so everyone should have a Chromebook. And if you do not have a Chromebook, of course, you need to see Ms. Nelson or myself, and we'll ensure that you do have one. Where your personal technology is allowed, in the commons, of course, before school and during lunch, in the hallways, which is going to be kind of hard because you're walking, so I don't really see why you should have personal technology in the hallway, but it is allowed in the hallway. And of course, in class, when the yellow sign is displayed or the teacher gives you permission. It is not allowed in the classroom when the red or green sign is displayed. So put it in airplane mode or just put it in your bag. If the sign is on green, that means we're only on Chromebooks or we're only utilizing Chromebooks. If the sign is yellow, you're only using your personal technology is allowed. And of course, if it's on red, no technology at all. And your teachers have had these signs up in their classrooms. In an emergency situation, such as a fire drill, we're not using technology, guys. It's an emergency, so we really don't have time. It really makes sense. Of course, if there's fire drill, I'm not going to try to text my best friend. I'm trying to get out of the building in time, so keep that in mind as well. Of course, no technology used during a test or a quiz. That's important. It's the same thing as still in a school document. You may not use technology to take photos of a test or assignment for distribution. That would be academic dishonesty, and that will come with a consequence. Students who are inconsistent with this policy, that will result in a referral to the office. Please do not use personal technology to call or text parents to pick you up when you do not feel well. All illnesses and checkouts should come through the clinic. So if you're not feeling well, the school will call home and we'll ensure that your parents know, but please do not call them and inform them to come pick you up. We'll do that through the clinic. And you can talk to Nurse Jones about that. New this year will be Checkmate. So we used Hero last year, but this year we'll be using Checkmate. Basically, what it would pretty much be the same thing. It'll be for your check-ins and check-outs. Each student will be given a personalized ID barcode, and it'll be on a FCHS ID card. And basically, you use it to check in and check out. You also use it for cafeteria purchases, but you should also or always still remember your lunch ID number, just in case you've missed your card or you misplaced your card. You'll have your barcode and you'll have your ID number. For check-ins, do not go directly to class if you arrive after 8:50. Teacher will not let you in. So if you arrive anytime after 8:50, make sure you go directly to the attendance office. There you'll scan in and you'll receive a pass from Checkmate. Now, there will be a consequence that's assigned to Checkmate immediately. So if you're like your 8th tardy to school, the consequence will already be on Checkmate. Consequences are assigned after the 4th tardy to school. Do not lose your pass, because if you lose your pass, of course, you cannot enter class. Of course, your consequence will go away if you submit an excuse on time. So if you get an excuse in, that consequence immediately goes away and you're good to go. Checkout procedures. Submit a note in the morning, so if you're going to have to leave early, just submit that note in the morning. You'll return to attendance office after second period for checkout slip, and then you'll submit that slip to the teacher at appropriate times and report to the attendance office at the appropriate time to check out. So very simple process. Just go ahead and turn it in the morning, after second period, get your checkout slip, and then give that to your teacher before you leave. Now, if you're a virtual student, of course, all of this may look different and you'll receive more guidance on attendance at a later time. Transitions, you have 5 minutes between classes. Please walk and talk, guys. We are really in a tough time with the pandemic, so you really don't have a lot of time to congregate, and we really shouldn't be doing a lot of congregating, but please walk and talk. The warning bell will ring after 3 minutes. Use transition time for your restroom break. Not really a time for socializing. If you are late, you will have to report to attendance for a checkmate pass. So if you're late to class, you're also going to have to go to the attendance office. Teacher will not let you in without a checkmate pass. Consequence will be assigned after the 6th tardy to class. Make sure you understand that. After the 6th tardy to class, you will get a consequence. So make sure you get to class on time. Please use social distancing when standing in the line. Move quickly through the building as you transition, because we want to ensure that social distancing guidelines are in place and they're being followed. And just be on time, guys. Simple as that. As far as testing is concerned, as of now, PSAT will be on October 14th. Of course, you know we're living in the pandemic time, so things can change. But as of now, it is on slated for October 14th. All freshmen and sophomore are free. Juniors will have to pay. If you're taking it for the National Merit Scholarship, you will have to pay. And if you're interested in the Merit Scholarship, please make sure you see Mrs. Pryor in the downstairs AP office to pay, and that cost is only $20. So if you're a junior and you're interested in paying or taking the National Merit Scholarship test, please see Mrs. Pryor, and like I said, it's only $20. The ASVAB will also be on October 14th, and all juniors not taking the PSAT will take the ASVAB, and that is, of course, free. So October 14th is our big day. Like I said, it may look different because we are on a yellow schedule as of now, but things may change. Well, guys, we're really excited to have you here. Like I said, I know we're living in some difficult times, but just stay focused. I still believe it's going to be an awesome school year. Of course, I'm here if you need anything. I'm in the downstairs AP office, so please feel free to stop by. But yeah, just do what you got to do, and I think we're going to have a really, really good year. All right? Have a good one.
Hey, Tigers! I'm Officer Israel, Fayetteville Police Department. I've been a post-first certified police officer since 1992, so I've been around a long time. But I'm also a Fayette County High School graduate. I'm not going to tell you what year because it was quite a few years ago, but I am also an alumni, so it's good to be a police officer here at the school. But I wanted to let you know what a school resource officer is. A school resource officer is exactly that. It is a resource to you. So I'm here if you need to come talk to me about legal questions, or if the latest cop show that you saw was actual real, if they really do that stuff, crime scene investigation, whatever. So I want to be a resource officer for you. Now, there's some things that we've got to talk about. This is going to be an unusual year. So we have different rules in place and things like that. We're going to really be strict on loitering, so we don't want a lot of people becoming too close to each other, or social gatherings and things like that. So we're going to have to really kind of tighten up on this a little bit, because it's for your safety and for your health and everybody's safety overall. Okay, so when you have student drop-off and student pickup, make sure you're dropped off and picked up in the appropriate areas and at the appropriate time. We're not going to have any loitering around the school. The school ends at 3:45, and you need to be off campus as soon as possible, unless you have student recovery, class recovery of some sort, or special projects or athletic events or whatever. But if it's anything like that, you need to be in place by 4:15 at the latest. No roaming the halls. We're not going to have any of that. You need to exit the building immediately, and your ride needs to be here within 15 minutes. So if school's ended at 3:45, you need to make sure that you're off the property as soon as possible, okay? We do have a lot of school alarms and a lot of school cameras. Some of these cameras you can see, and some of them you cannot. So we do have a lot of resources for me to use when it comes to trying to look at certain things throughout the entire school process of people loitering in the halls, theft, and things of that nature, okay? There will not be any use of alcohol or drugs at the school. Obviously, I want you to understand there are legal consequences for the wrong things that you do. Trust me, I do not want to take criminal charges on our young adults. I want you to be our future. I do not want you to be having criminal charges brought up against you and you starting the wrong path. So please, do the right thing. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. Okay? Do not get me involved legally. I want to be here as a resource for you, but I do not want to be here taking criminal charges against you. So no alcohol or drugs or anything of that nature. Any of the new common trends, vaping, brownies, any of that stuff, do not bring it. You will have legal consequences for that. There will not be any fighting. The fighting here at the school is the same as if it is on the street. Understand that if you do fight, you do engage in physical contact with each other, I will take criminal charges for that. We got to have a safe environment. You've got to understand you cannot learn unless you feel you are safe. My primary job is to make sure you are safe. So there will not be any fighting. There will not be any kind of gang activity. I want you to understand this. Gangs are not cool. I know that's coming from a police officer. It's also coming from a dad. But listen to me. Gangs are not cool. If you walk like a duck, act like a duck, and dress like a duck, you a duck. So make sure you understand that if you look like a gang member, act like a gang member, dress like a gang member, I will take criminal charges on you. We got to keep this school safe. Understand that, please. There will not be any kind of graffiti. I don't care if it's a magic marker in the high school bathroom. We're not going to tolerate that. Graffiti is a stepping stone. It's a tagging area for any kind of promotion of anything wrongdoing. So understand that. We're not going to put up with any kind of graffiti. Okay? Also theft. I want you to understand. Guard your stuff. Okay? People want to take your stuff. Even if they don't need it, they just want to take it. So understand that. There are theft cases that happen at school. We're very blessed that we don't have a whole lot of it. We're going to keep it that way. Understand that your stuff you cannot leave unattended. There will not be any phone chargings because what a lot of people do is they plug their phone up to a wall, leave it charged, and they walk away, come back, and the phone's gone. It's an abandoned property. You got to understand that. Guard your stuff. Do not let anybody take your stuff. If we're not going to have a lot of book bags being left in the hallways, if there's a book bag left in the hallway and it's not with you, I take it because it's abandoned property. For school safety, I will search that book bag. I don't care if I know who it is or whatever. I'm going to search that book bag to make sure that there's nothing that can harm this school. Then you will come see me afterward, and your stuff will be put in a clear plastic bag, and it will be out of its bag, okay? So everybody gets to see what you got in there. Don't leave stuff in the hallway. I have to do this for school safety, okay? So I want to understand. I went through a lot of rules. I went through a lot of legal consequences on things. I want you to also understand, and please remember, I am a resource officer for you. Come see me. I'll help you out any way I can. We'll talk about things. We'll talk about TV shows, whatever you need to talk about. I want to be a friend and a resource to you. Please do not get me involved legally. I will have to do what I have to do to protect and serve. Thanks for y'all's attention. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the school year.
Hi, Tigers. You've heard a lot of information from our assistant principals as well as Officer Israel with regards to the expectations we have in place for you to maintain the safety of the environment here at Fayette County High School, as well as your safety and good health. Please remember there are things that you need to do to partner with us to make sure that we maintain a safe and healthy environment on Tiger Trail. And to follow up with a couple of things that were shared with you from the individual principals as well as Officer Israel, I just want to remind you of a couple of things. And so I'm going to be looking down a little bit because I want to make sure that I share these things with you so that there is no question about what the expectations are here at Fayette County High School. First being discipline. If you do something on campus that is illegal, the minimum discipline you may receive is 5 days of OSS with a maximum of 10 days of OSS pending a tribunal. And if you are sent to tribunal, that means that there's a possibility that you will be expelled from Fayette County High School and you will not be able to attend Fayette County High School for a minimum of a semester and possibly up to a full school year. Things to consider are drugs and alcohol. That is a minimum 5 days OSS and super program. Alcohol, same thing, 5 days OSS super program. Any weapons or firearms is an immediate 10 days OSS pending tribunal. So make sure you don't do these things, make smart decisions, make good decisions. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. Making good choices is the best way for you to be able to engage in what your parents send you here for and hopefully what you come to school for, which is to learn and to build your knowledge so that as you transition from Fayette County High School, you can be the best version of yourself. And we want you to start practicing that not only after you leave us, but while you're here. Also, it is your responsibility to help us make sure we maintain the safety of the school. You are the first line of defense. If you hear something, say something. If you see something, say something. And please make sure that in hearing something and saying something, it is not broadcast on social media, because again, you are our first line of defense. Sharing things that are not appropriate or of a concern or possibly even a threat, posting on social media can be a wider threat, and it can cause more damage to the school and basically and ultimately to you all than if you just report to an adult so that we can try to maintain whatever the issue may be, big or small, and in reality it may not even be something that is a true fact. So always make sure that if you hear something that you're concerned about, that you report it to a adult, so that if it's not an administrator, the adult in the building can report it to an administrator and we can immediately investigate. That will help us maintain the safety of this building and to make sure we maintain the safety of you, your peers, the faculty and staff, and all stakeholders here at Fayette County High School. I believe there was conversation about threats, bullying, and harassment. Please make sure that you don't participate in those things because it is not tolerated here at Fayette County High School. If we hear of a report, we do investigate. I know there are times that some students believe, well, somebody did something to me and nothing was done. If we don't know it, we cannot investigate. So again, if you hear something, say something. If you know something is going on, please go to an adult that you believe and trust will share that information so that it can get to the right personnel, i.e. administrators, so that we can follow up, or Officer Israel, so that we can follow up and make sure that we maintain your safety, because before we can do anything, it is vitally important that we maintain your safety and your health. And I know I've said that multiple times already, and you will continue to hear me say that. And remember, your off-campus behavior may and does have an impact here at school. Things that you do off campus that negatively impact you or others, especially if it's impacting a fellow peer, could have an impact here at school, and there could be consequences for that. So please make sure you, again, being smart and making good choices. Going back to when you hear something, when you see something, say something, or the use of social media, please make sure you're being responsible. You all are young adults. It is very important that you be respectful when you are using your social media, and not just when you're communicating with your friends, but when you're communicating and making comments with anyone on social media. A lot of times we have different accounts, and I recognize that you all may have different accounts on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snap, but all of that can be shared, retweeted, and it can be posted and reposted, and people can take screenshots of things that you may not necessarily want to be public, but can easily become public just from posting something or sending something to someone that you thought or you trusted would not share your information. So you all need to be very careful about that, because again, that could be a major disruption in the school, and if it becomes an issue in the school, it is an issue that we have to address, and there could be consequences. But more importantly, I want you all, again, making good choices about what you put out on social media. I know for you all, it's just a quick push of the button. It's just a quick, I didn't really mean that. It was just in jest. It was just for fun. But sometimes what you think is funny can be very harmful to another person. So please be very careful about that, because when you do things like that and you don't recognize that they are harmful and hurtful and really could hurt someone's feelings, and more importantly, it could be an emotional trauma or impact to them mentally, that becomes cyberbullying. And then there's a whole different situation that you will be facing here at Fayette County High School, and even possibly with the police. So you need to be very careful about how you use your social media. Additional offenses that could cause issues for you beyond just the consequences of 5 days of OSS to a tribunal to being expelled from Fayette and possibly having to attend alternative school is something that Officer Israel spoke with you all about, and that's charges. Depending on the severity of behavior such as a second fight and possibly even a first fight if there's major injury to another person. But weapons, assaults, or threats, those could also, things like that could turn into charges. So you need to be very careful when you are upset, when you're angry, when you feel like you're not able to control your actions and interactions with others. You need to seek an adult in the building so that we can talk you through it and we can try to find a space so that we can find a resolution not only for you but possibly for the other person in this building so that it doesn't result in out-of-school suspension, it doesn't result in possible expulsion, and it doesn't result with charges being placed. And know this, I love every student in this building. I work extremely hard for you, and I will go 100% for you, but I have expectations, and I want you to meet them. So no matter how much you think, oh, Miss YBJ, she's cool, she's this, she's that, my expectations are very firm because I have to maintain the safety in this building. That is my first priority, and that is my most important responsibility outside of making sure you all get a valuable education. So I take these things seriously, and I need you to understand that they will be taken seriously if you do anything that goes against the expectations and the rules that we have in place to keep each and every one of you safe, including ourselves. Additionally, threats, battery, severe disrespect to faculties will not be tolerated. We will not be inappropriate to one another. We will not be inappropriate or disrespectful to our faculty and staff. Our language, you all need, I know you've been away from school for the last several months, and you've been at home, you've been with family, you've been with friends, and you've been communicating, like I said, via social media, on the phone, doing your PlayStation, your PS whatevers, and all of that. And I know sometimes you all use colorful language to communicate with each other, but we're back at school, and there's school language and there's outside school language. When you're at school, you need to use school language. Profanity and screaming and yelling down the hallways, totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. We know how to behave. We are Fayette, and I expect for you all to do so. Technology and personal use. All right, so this year is different. This year, for the last 2 years that I have been principal here, we have used the cell phone parking lots. So the little shoe pockets where you place your phones in those, the little pockets, you're given a number, and your number is where you put your cell phone so that you aren't distracted during class. Well, this year, because of everything that has to do with COVID-19 and trying to minimize as much touching and interactions with each other with regards to touching and being in each other's personal space, and just making sure we're being appropriate with sanitation, that we're going to suspend the use of the cell phone pockets for at least first semester, and you will be able to keep your phone or your personal devices on your person. But what that means is you will need to place your cell phones in your bags. That does not mean on the desk with the phone turned over. That means you will place your cell phones and any other personal devices inside of your string bag or your book bags and away from you while you are in class and you are being educated. Because phones are a distraction. I am very aware of it. I have 2 phones, and I use my phones constantly, and they're in my presence probably every minute of the day that I'm not sleeping. However, there's a place and time, and we need to practice those things, not just for school, but just in general. That's a good practice. When you are in school and you are learning and your teacher is engaging you, you need to be engaged in your learning. So cell phones will need to be placed in your bags, string bags or book bags, and out of sight during instructional time. Each of your teachers will provide you with further expectation, but I am letting you know so that there is no confusion when your teacher asks you to do so. I expect for you all to follow that. I don't even expect for you all to have your teachers to tell you. I am asking you, and I'm letting you know what the expectation is now, so I expect that you will do it without question. COVID-19 reminders. So things are going to change in the building. As you know, we're starting on the yellow schedule, which means that we will have half of our student body here on Mondays and Tuesdays, the other half on Thursdays and Fridays. While you are transitioning in the hallways, please be mindful of your peers. Try to maintain your social distancing, not just for your personal safety and health, but for the safety and personal health of others. We have floor signage, we have wall signage. Not some, but all of our stairwells they are now turned into a one-way. So if you are coming down the hallway and you see that the stairwell is a one-way, then please use that stairwell as such. If that means you have to walk back around to another stairwell to get to where you're going, then please do that. We are going to give you all grace this first week of school. However, the majority of you know Fayette County High School's building. You know how to get around, and we will expect for you to still be able to meet your times where you need to go between transitions in between your classes in order to get to your classes on time. When you enter the building in the mornings, you will go directly to your first period. Lockers will not be used this year. You all will have the option for first semester, and then we will revisit second semester depending on what we look like at the end of first semester as far as health safety guidelines. But you all may bring a string bag, which I prefer, or a book bag. And the reason why I say I prefer a string bag because they're smaller and you all have Chromebooks. You all will not have to have books that you necessarily have to carry back and forth to class because you have your Chromebook, which you can access all of your, or the majority of your class assignments as well as any books that you use in class. You can access those all on your Chromebook. So for the most part, if you have a string bag, that allows for you to place it under your desk or under your table so that it is not impeding the walkways of aisles for your teacher or for yourselves, because that is one of the reasons why we suspended book bags from classes in the beginning, because it was a safety issue. So please make sure that you are adhering to that and you're helping not only yourself but your teachers as well as your peers to stay safe. We have a lot of things in place to make sure we keep you all safe, but you have to help us keep you safe. Again, as much as we can provide the tools to meet safety guidelines, you have to help us to apply them. Masks are required. I'm going to say that again. Masks are required. We are on a yellow schedule, and according to Fayette County Board of Education, while we are on yellow, masks are required. Please make sure your masks are school appropriate. We are still following the dress code. That has not changed. So your masks need to be appropriate with regards to any writing, any slang, any pictures, any graphics. They all need to be appropriate. You all will receive 2 masks in your welcome back packets and your required forms. One is a cloth mask and one actually has the logo of Fayette County High School. So I would encourage you to use those and wear those. I believe they are machine washable, but certainly I know you all already have your own mask and that's fine, but they need to be school appropriate. You also can wear a shield. So a clear shield can be worn as well. Or a neck gaiter. I've seen, we are allowing for you all to wear a neck gaiter, but as far as bandanas, they cannot be worn because that is not dress code. So do not wear a bandana. And when we ask you, if you wear a bandana and we ask for it to be given to us, it needs to be given to us without question, and we will replace it with a cloth mask for you for the day. But we will not replace masks for you every day. It is required, so you need to make sure you come with a mask and it needs to be worn. You all can take natural breaks because I understand, just like you, wearing masks, it can be sometimes very cumbersome and it can be hard to breathe. But take a breath, put it back on. In your classes, if your teachers give you mask breaks, then take them. But your mask need to be worn, especially when we are in transition. Now, again, that being said, we have some things in place so that you can stay safe, not only during transition, but also in the cafeteria. I believe Ms. Cherry Lee reviewed that with you all. We will have 4 lunches this year instead of 3. You all will sit 2 to a table. The person that you sit with at the table is the person you need to sit with every day at the table. So that way, if there is any issues, we can trace back to where you were for as much as we can so that we once again can keep you safe and we can keep everybody in this building safe. The ultimate goal is that we will have a good start to our school year and we will be able to maintain yellow so that we can at least be in the building with you all 2 days a week in person and then 3 days with you doing digital learning. But should there be a situation where we have to close school, it will not suspend your learning. It just will mean we will close the building and we will go to a red schedule. So it's important that we keep each other safe and we maintain the social distancing and we wash our hands, and you can bring sanitizer, but we do have sanitizer stations throughout the school. We have extra sanitizer stations, so that way if you need to use them while you are in transition, you can. Washing your hands and just making sure you stay safe and sanitized. I know we're going to have a great year. I am looking forward to this year. I'm excited about this year. I have missed you all terribly, as your teachers have as well, and I know that things still feel uncertain. I know that things still feel a little shaky, but we're going to get through this together because, as I said, we are Fayette. And we always exemplify excellence in all we do with everything that we do, and I have no doubt that we'll do the same in this. This is a new reality for us, but it's a challenge that I know we can all face together, and we will overcome. The last thing I want to leave you all with is this summer, there's been a lot of social unrest in the African American community. And there have been a lot of things that I know you all have witnessed and seen through social media as well as on the news. And I'm sure some of you have probably even participated in some of the demonstrations to support the Black Lives Matter movement. And I commend you all for that. And I have spoken with a lot of young people here at Fayette County High School over the last several weeks via Zoom to talk about different things that we can do to support each other, to support not just the Black culture, but all the cultures here at Fayette County High School, because we have many. And I am very proud of the young people that I've spoken to, your peers, that really want to see, or not see, but have a voice in what we look like and how we address and educate each other. So there'll be a lot more information forthcoming, but just so you know, we will continue our Tiger Talks between peers at least once a month, and we're also going to have an opportunity for Tiger Talks to happen with our faculty and staff, which we did last year as well as the previous year. But we will also have those opportunities, and in addition to that, we're going to have what we call a Tiger Town Hall. And it is going to be a podcast that Dr. Harmon, Mrs. League, and Mr. Trask will provide for you all to be able to just talk about a variety of different things that are happening in your lives that you feel are important, that needs a voice lended to it. But it's going to be in a space that's educational and appropriate and respectful. And I need you all to understand that, because I think that sometimes when you all are passionate, that passion tends to turn sometimes into being disrespectful. And I want you to know that as an adult, myself and the adults in this building, we want to support you. We want to help encourage you and guide and nurture your passion, but it has to be responsible and it has to be respectful. So as we move forward in this year, know that those are some things that we're going to be doing here at Fayette County High School, and we will also continue to just really personify who we are. And I think one of the other things that I've talked to Mr. Trask about, our audio teacher, is once a week showcasing Black excellence. And so those of you who are in audio, you're going to have a task. And it's going to include that, and it's going to give you an opportunity to research some things and share with your fellow peers what Black excellence is and what it looks like. And it doesn't all have to be just about the past. It can be about what's going on now. But again, it has to be appropriate, it has to be responsible and respectful. I'd like to end with just letting you all know, once again, I am grateful that you have returned to Fayette County High School on Tiger Trail. I'm looking forward to an outstanding school year, a year that is filled with excellence, a year that's filled with educational engagement, and that we make sure that we're being safe, making good decisions, and being smart. And always remember, knowledge is power. Once you gain it, no one can take it away from you. I thank you for your time. I thank you for listening, and let's have a great 2020-21 school year. Thank you.